Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back for some more esports news. I hope you had a safe 4th of July. I have a couple topics in this video, so let's get right into it. Alrighty, our first story this week actually takes us over to the Overwatch League as we compare how the Vancouver Titans and the San Francisco Shock have adapted to that new team composition meta by taking a look at their match statistics from last week. As covered in my last video, the newly implemented team comp of Ana, Brigitte, Lucio, Reinhardt, Sombra, and Zarya has picked up the nickname of Sombrana, coined by Blizzard Entertainment's own Ben Captain Planet Trotman. So let's get right into those statistics, guys. The Shock have actually participated in 0-0 team fights with the Sombrana composition since their loss to the Chengdu Hunters with a shocking 16.7% win ratio, only winning 3 out of 18 team fights in their matches last week against the Sombrana composition. They're having a very tough time adapting to this. So they got 1 week left. It might be a little too late. We'll see what happens, guys. Taking a look over at the Titans, they have actually surprisingly adapted very well to this meta, sitting at 3rd in the table when you look at the team fight win percentage with the new team comp at 60%, going 39 for 65 with their Sombrana team fights in their matches last week. So we get two very different sides of this story. You got the San Francisco Shock, who are actually completely rejecting the switch and deciding to pick team compositions that fit closely with their roster and the players that they have, while you got the Titans over on this side, and they are trying, they trust in their roster and the ceiling that roster has to be able to adapt to anything that league or the meta throws at them. And as you can see by the numbers and their records, which team is better and which has adapted better. So moving over to Call of Duty, as we take a look at the CWL, the final week of cross-division play did actually come to a close in the CWL this week, and the final seedings are out for the league playoffs in Miami, Florida. If you weren't one of those 8 teams that qualified, there will be an opportunity for you to get in, and I'll touch on that in just a moment. However, the top 8 teams that did qualify through that tournament were Optic Gaming, 100 Thieves, Splice, FaZe Clan, Team Reciprocity, Gen.G, E-United, and Team Heretics have all booked their trip to Miami, Florida to compete for that $1.2 million prize pool. Like I said earlier, a single elimination bracket has been set up, so the final 2 teams standing will join the other 8 that have already clinched their spots and give themselves an opportunity at that pretty big prize pool. Some of the favorites leading into the play-in would have to be based on the structure of the bracket, either Envy or Evil Geniuses from the top side and Luminosity from the bottom side. I could also see Enigma 6 from the top side, which is absolutely stacked. By the way, I forgot to mention that if you take a look at the bracket, there are some top teams in that top half of the bracket. Also, you got Midnight GG in that bottom half has been looking pretty solid in their matches this week. However, let's touch on LG, who frankly has been outstanding in their matches this week in the Pro League with their 2 new additions, Caesar Skies Bueno and Carson Brack Newberry, who have made a very, very good impact on those AR roles that they came into. I can't see them really losing to anybody in that tournament, so look forward to seeing them in Miami. As we look at the top half of the bracket, it could be very, very interesting, like I said, because there are some good teams up there, combined with the fact that it's a single elimination format. So if you lose one match, if you don't show up for one match, you will be going home, and you will miss out on an opportunity for probably one of the biggest prize pools of the year. As we look at some of those top teams, we take a look over at the first match of the day, which is going to be Evil Geniuses take on Enigma 6 in that first round. So like I said, there's going to be one of those teams will be going home and will not be have a shot at that big prize pool. Enigma 6 placing 6th at the CWL Anaheim just over a month ago, decided to make a very controversial team change. Some didn't think that they needed to. They did anyway. They had some mixed results in the Pro League. They did improve a little bit, so hopefully they can continue to improve because they're definitely going to need it. EG also made a team change, just a 1-for-1, dropping their AR for Splice's old AR, Lamar Accuracy Abidi. And they did see some very good results last week in their CWO Pro League, and they finished on a very high note. Lamar is more of a dedicated AR, something that they definitely needed. Phantoms is more of a slaying AR. He definitely puts himself in dangerous positions, usually wins those gunfights, but when you play against those top ARs, they will punish you for those, and Lamar definitely will look over your SMGs and your other ARs that are running down lanes, and he will hold down those spawns, and it's definitely something that EG needed, as you can see in their results from last week. Let's take a look over at Envy, as they actually loaned out arguably their best player, Kyler Hoop Garland, to Splice, saying pretty much, here you go. Here's your best opportunity at COD Champs this year. We don't want to lose him, so we're not going to sell him to you, but you will be able to have him on loan. He will come back to us at the end of the year. And if he did pick up Gunless from Splice, however, I don't think that that's really an influential change. They already have a ton of ARs on that roster. What they really needed to do was replace Hook with another SOG or another SMG player that they could have to fill into his role, because he's definitely going to have a big gap to fill on the map. They actually replaced one of their other ARs with a formerly drop player in Adam Assault Garcia, which I don't understand. Maybe they know something we don't know. He might be a really good teammate, but I don't understand why you would drop somebody and then bring them back for arguably your biggest tournament of the year. But we'll see what happens. I don't know who you guys have looking good and going into the standings. Like I said, I have LG winning this, and probably from the top, I would have to say, I'm going to say Evil Geniuses. So we're going to go, I'll say Evil Geniuses and Luminosity Gaming are making into this play-in tournament. So the 10 teams that we have going into playoffs in Miami, Florida are going to be Optic Gaming, 100 Thieves, Splice, FaZe Clan, Gen G, Team Reciprocity, E United, Team Heretics, Evil Geniuses, and Luminosity Gaming. Like I said, just from their results in the Pro League and how they've been performing up to this point, I would say that those two rosters probably have the best shot at winning or even beating any of those other top 8 teams. So hopefully everything goes according to plan, and that's what happens. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Now for my last segment of the video, we will be heading over to the NALCS as we approach the halfway mark of the summer split, and we will be discussing the somewhat rise of Optic Gaming, as they have definitely turned some heads over there. Optic Gaming started the summer split off very well with an impressive 4-0 record after just the first 2 weekends, going 2-0 both weeks, really surprising everyone in the league with some unexpected wins early on. They now sit tied with TSM for 4th place with a respectable 6-4 record after going 1-1 over the weekend, but they do look a bit inconsistent at times. One could definitely look at their record and their results recently and tell by some of the teams that they've lost to. The loss that they had on Sunday to 2-7 FlyQuest is definitely one that stands out for me, and that was a missed opportunity to climb the standings and help them secure that all-important playoff spot. I'm sure everybody is aware of the current situation involving Optic Gaming and Immortals. Immortals just purchased Optic Gaming outright, and they now own their LCS spot. So there is absolutely some added pressure on these players to perform well and potentially prove themselves to their new owners that they deserve to be on the roster next year when Optic is replaced. With 8 matches to go until the season ends, we'll see if they can continue to prove people wrong and get themselves into playoffs, as there's about 8 matches going into the end of the league. That would be very huge for these players, especially considering all the internal turmoil and uncertainty that has definitely encompassed this organization over the past few months. Qualifying for playoffs would be so huge for these guys, and it would be a much needed achievement, as this may be the last time any of us actually see an Optic jersey in the LCS. So the question that begs to be asked, and the question that is on every Optic Gaming fan's mind, is, Immortals, what are you guys going to do with this roster? How many changes are you going to make? Players like jungler Meteos and top lane Dokla have seen their personal stock rise with some really good performances this split. However, with the amount of changes that has already taken place within the organization itself, I can see them making some serious switches and changes to the roster, with hopes of consistently being a top NA team with the likes of Cloud9, Liquid, and TSM. With a little under a month left in the summer split, that's definitely a situation that we're going to keep our eye on as Optic Gaming continues their push for their playoff spot. That's going to conclude today's video, guys. I want to thank everyone for stopping by. We'll see you back here tomorrow for your daily dose of esports news. My name is Cody, and have a good one. Thank you.